You need to know this about high-tech criminals. Criminals are now setting up false cameras hidden in bushes, places like that. They can actually record your keypad and you getting into your door so they can get your passwords through either your garage, or if you have an electronic front door that takes a code. If they hide a camera, which is in this latest report from NBC, and I also was covering something similar the other day, you should also be mindful that criminals out there will use things like jammers to potentially jam your camera. Take, for instance, a screen like this. Something like this is what it may have. Now, these are all different channels. Now, if they pick up which channel your camera's running on, they can target that with a jammer, and then what that does is it'll actually freeze up the frames that are being recorded on your camera, potentially depending on that camera setup, if it has internal memory or if it is just broadcasting direct to a cloud. It may not get part of the feed depending on the memory storage if it's jammed long enough. So you need to be aware of this stuff. Another tip is hardwiring your security systems, whether it's your cameras, whether it's your choice in alarm systems. Don't rely on wireless. And if you do rely on wireless, you may want to look into a product with something called channel hopping. Now, channel hopping, what that does is, instead of the criminal being able to pick up, detect your signals, and then jam and target them, if it's, say, connecting on a specific wireless channel, channel hopping, what that does is it jumps around. And so in that way, if they're jamming one channel, well, your security system, as long as it's using a good channel hopping system, will not be as easily jammed at all. But of course, hardwired is best, and if you're worried about power being cut to that device, of course you're going to want to have a backup power supply. Depending on the type of attack, you also need to watch out for things like your actual doors to your car as well, because there are criminals out there who will use long range or targeted directional antennas to grab your keys. They could, if they're close to you in the store, if you're in line paying for an item, you may have heard about this, where they can actually, mess with your cards as well, maybe access cards as well. So think about all these things. Think about this high-tech criminals that are out there today, because we just had a story that came out at NBC talking about how all of these big sports players, these millionaire sports stars that just got targeted, and one of them was only saved because he had staff that were seen in the house, so the criminals didn't actually enter. But they're hiding cameras in some cases inside bushes, or they have a mock type of plant that has a hidden camera in it, and that's to watch your habits. They can surveil you. So just be aware that you may think you're surveilling to stop the criminals, but the criminals, they may be surveilling you. In this day and age, it's so cheap to get technology to set up cameras like that. And there's other types of jammers out there that can jam all kinds of channels. So just be aware of this stuff. If you have to go wireless, go with something with channel hopping if you have the option. Don't rely on, and I particularly recommend having something that you're actually storing the footage yourself locally, just because in that way, if it's storing locally with the camera setup and it's hardwired, you're not going to have to worry about cloud access or the privacy concerns that are there as well, or the reliability problems that might be there. But of course, if you set your own stuff up, you'll have to make sure that's reliable too. Let me know what you think about this story, and if you have any thoughts in the comments.